Hey there, so now let's talk about beta listing sites. Now, beta listing sites are any site or directory or community that lists and promotes beta startups. So there's tons and tons of examples of these. Often there's some type of premium option as well, which is the reason why people start these sites. But it's also really great because a lot of these folks just worry about building their list, which means they have a massive list to help you promote. And they grow really, really rapidly because obviously folks are always interested in the newest and latest startup. There are so many of these, so I'm only going to highlight a few in this video. And there's one big one that I'm leaving out for a specific reason, and I'll tell you at the end of the video. But I'm only going to highlight a few, and then I'll link to a Google Doc filled with tons of these beta listing sites that you can link to and that you can go to and submit to. And I do recommend going and listing on all of them, partially because for future purposes, it's going to help with your SEO and everything else as well. But it's just more channels for folks to come and see who you are. So let's dive in. Beta list, one of the biggest ones by far, over 200,000 page views a month, over 10,000 subscribers, over 30,000 Twitter followers. It's absolutely massive. We used this in Player.me a long time ago. And we got really great results, so I imagine now it's just only so much better. Basically, it is the biggest and best out of all of them, hands down. Outside of the one that I'm leaving out, which I'll reveal that secret in a second. But it's one of the bigger and better ones. Super simple to submit to. The potential now is over 200 to 300 beta users if it really resonates with their folks. You get upwards of 300 to 400 clicks, so as long as your page is good, again, you follow that simple rule of one purpose, one page, you'll have no problem converting hundreds of beta users there, which is phenomenal. And just to give you some insight there, when we launched Player.me on there, we generated over 100 beta users with just beta list. And then we ran their advertising option, which included like email and Twitter and listing on the site and all this other stuff too. At the time, it was only $200, so we wanted to test it. We generated something like 200 to 300 beta users off of that little extra push there as well. It was absolutely phenomenal. Great site, and now there's so much bigger of an audience there, so definitely check it out. Hacker News, another great one. Basically, it's Y Combinator's version of Reddit. It's specific for developers. It's a really developer-oriented community, but basically it's a social sharing community based around links and discussions. Not so much around like threads and things like that. It's more so like a social bookmarking site, but aimed at developers and at technical talent. A front page link, if you can get enough people to upvote you, meaning enough people that really love your content and want you to appear on the homepage, you can generate thousands of monthly unique visitors in a matter of hours. There's a lot of stories out there, there's a lot of case studies out there of people that just went viral and got hundreds of thousands of visitors over a few days because it was incited by Hacker News getting them a few thousand, and then it just went viral. Potential here, if you have a developer or designer oriented product, is upwards of 200 beta users or more, especially if you have a really good promotion plan in place. And you can leverage the promotion plan that I'm going to walk through for Product Hunt, which is the one key resource that I'm leaving out here because it's a really big resource. Product Hunt, you only really get one shot at it. You want to have a really solid plan behind it because there's many ways to screw up your Product Hunt promotion. You can apply the same steps and strategies to Hacker News because you do want to try and get some folks to help you raise up to the front page. That's when you're going to see the most value out of Hacker News. Killer Startups, again, another directory site, 124,000 monthly unique visitors, and it's only growing now that they're part of the startups.co family. And potential here is about 100 plus beta users. No matter what way you look at it, they have a really awesome, diverse background of different people looking from like fintech to clean tech to everything. So no matter what your startup is, it's going to be pretty easy to get 100 plus beta users just out of Killer Startups, unless of course you're in a highly technical market, in which case you're still going to get half a dozen or a dozen beta users, which is perfectly fine. There's other sites that you can list on as well. Another community here, Reddit's Reddit's startups community. It's reddit.com/r/startups. It's a subreddit, which is basically a sub community of Reddit. And as I mentioned, Reddit's just like it's just a community of links and discussions. There's 127,000 subscribers in this particular sub community, which means a ridiculous amount of monthly unique visitors. Similar to Hacker News, if you do appear on the front page on the home section there, you can be talking about thousands of visitors to your site. I've had a few threads that went to the front page of the startups community, and resulted in hundreds and hundreds of comments going through. It's really, really awesome. They host a monthly share your startup thread as well. So if you want to just promote your startup pretty blatantly, they have a thread that's always pinned to the top. Just about that, you just go in and comment. And you do get a pretty good amount of beta users there. If you just post specifically on the startup thread, you're going to get about 20 to 30 beta users, which is not bad at all. Then there's the other way of posting in this particular community, and that's with delivering some type of value and then linking out to your startup. So it could be just, hey, here's my journey to building my startup, and now we've launched, people are asking about it, here's the link to my startup, and you just you kind of do it nonchalantly, the same way you would within a Facebook group when you're trying to self-promote, but very subtly. And of course, if you do really, really well there, your thread doesn't get deleted, and then people actually enjoy it, then you can get upwards of 200 beta users out of that, just because of the sheer amount of traffic it can drive you. So kind of depends on how bold you want to go here. I'm going to try and come up with a swipe file for you to leverage, but in reality, you need to be very, very authentic for it not to be caught here. So just be wary of that. Definitely post in their thread that comes up every month, and try and go there as early to the beginning of the month as possible. You obviously do get a little bit more traffic that way, but it's up to you, whichever way makes sense. Another Reddit sub-community called Alpha and Beta users. This one's great. This one's been around for a while, and it was created basically for folks who were just selfishly promoting in the startups community. They created their own community specifically to say, hey, I need beta users. Hey, I need alpha users. There's only about 4,000 subscribers, but they do get a good amount of monthly traffic. So when you post in here, you're going to get 20, 30, maybe even 50 beta users off the bat in a matter of a day or two, which is phenomenal. And I believe you can repost. I'm going to have to check on that, but I believe you can go in there and repost. If you posted like 2-3 months ago and you made some type of update, you can go back and post again and get a few more users as well, which is phenomenal. The last, Twitter. So Twitter is actually pretty awesome for this. They have 3 key hashtags that are really all about like people announcing, hey, I have this beta product and I need some users. Obviously, Twitter has a massive user base on its own, and when you look at these hashtags, there's a good amount of traffic and interaction going on there. But obviously, because it's Twitter, lower engagement, people don't always see that stuff when they log in. But if you post on all 3 of these and you have a good beta, you have a good product, you can get 25 plus beta users off the bat pretty simply. And obviously this happens a lot quicker than a lot of these other ones because it's Twitter. Everything's happening in real time. So those are these beta listing sites. I'm going to link to a Google Doc in the description below, which is going to have plus 100 beta sites. There's a ridiculous amount of them out there. And for Product Hunt in particular, you're going to have to check out the other module specific to Product Hunt, because there is like a lot more planning around that. And I want to make sure you're getting the best opportunity possible to squeeze all the beta users you can out of Product Hunt.